Good evening, gamers. Welcome back for another round of the GLC playoffs for the Asynchronous League for Cardboard Warriors. Welcome back into the Turbo Blaze YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining myself and tonight Spencer Batton on the other side of the table doing some commentary for our teammate GhoULS taking on Ravi in this semifinals matchup, trying to figure out who's going to move on into the finals after this whole year, the hard work that they put in. And we actually have a little bit of an interesting one. We've got a kind of a mirror match on the plate tonight with a very interesting brew of this hydro pump deck anyway. So, Spence, you think that we're going to see some fireworks tonight?
Oh, it should be a good one. This is not only a water mirror and a decision of who's going to represent water as a type for the Async Season 7 Playoff Championship Finals. It's also a 58 of 60 card mirror. I got in my notes, these guys are pretty much playing the exact same deck. They built the deck together, hydro pump water, but no Baxcalibur. They both opt to play the Milotic with the Rippling Waves ability to get any one card from your discard pile and put it into your hand. Really strong. They both opt to play cards like Arizu. Like I said, no Baxcalibur. They got Frostmoth as their energy accelerator. No Alolan Vulpix. They play Hisuian and Basculin. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a good one. This deck can get a turn 2 whale, and if you're able to knock it out, it can get it back in 2 more turns. Plays things like Reversal Energy, Arizu, no Raihan, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
A lot of fun.
definitely so. So let's get these players kicked off, and we will start our evening, our festivities. Alrighty, guys, you are good to go whenever you are ready. Let it rip. All right,
I think another thing to note too here is the attacker lineups in these water decks that they're both piloting tonight. Wishy Washy and Teleon, Waylord. Um, you know, you can get in there with some of the support guys every once in a while as well. But the attack line is a little bit slimmer. They don't opt to run the Kyogre. No Veluza, no Lapras.
sure, recursion is the name of the game for these decks. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is we're going to rush to a whale. We are going to see multiple whales over the course of a game, hopefully for both of these players. That's what they're going to try to establish using their melodic, using the shady dealings in Teleon. You basically, like I've talked to GhoULS several times, the way that it feels like is that you have access to whatever you want at whatever time, and based on where you are, you'll either prioritize the Inteleon line or you'll prioritize the melodic line based on if the good cards are in the discard pile or still in the deck. So definitely going to see the support Pokemon shine true over the course of this game. And then not to belittle the lovely Octopus as well. Octillery still in both of these decks. Just a super strong way for water to draw through the deck. And we see here Ravi is having a couple of mulligans right off the go. So GhoULS will have some extra cards to work with, and we know that that's a big deal for this water deck, this water archetype. I know that going second is going to be a big player in how these decks set up. Both of them are running the Hisuian Basculin for their consistency engine. So they will look to gather the crew on turn 1, be able to get these Pokemon out that they know that they're going to need over the course of the game.
Yeah, we've had both of GhoULS' last rounds streamed, and let's note here, a few of those games were just attached pass or just nothing really going on and pass. No other bench Pokemon is what I'm getting at, and GhoULS is going first here. He did have 2 mulligans, so 2 extra cards, and then 1 off the top. And he hit a Buddy Poffin off of maybe one of those 3 cards. So isn't going to be one of those just pass games.
Yeah, definitely not going to be a just pass game like you said, but neither of these decks seem to be a heavily donk style deck.
Yeah.
Both of them are going to want to set up, like we had mentioned, set up their whale lords and whatnot. So seeing Buddy Buddy Poffin and Phoebus in the active, tells me that GhoULS definitely going to be able to establish these mons that he wants to get out into play. Just a matter of which ones he chooses. Looks like we're eyeing up the Sobble and the Snom immediately.
Yeah, you and I, Logan, we haven't got a chance to talk about this. How, you play water pretty heavily. How do you foresee a mirror match like this happening? What do you think is the route to winning it?
Yeah, so I talked to GhoULS just a little bit earlier, and he and I discussed the thought that probably being able to take out the whale lord, the whale before it becomes a whale lord is probably the best route possible. So I think that you're going to see GhoULS prioritize, and probably that's Ravi's idea of a game plan too. We heard that Ravi had, played through this matchup in his head a couple of times and formulated a game plan. I imagine that it revolves around keeping the whale lord off the board as long as possible for both of these sides, so that you're sitting there looking at the ability to have a whale of your own twice and limit your opponent to only having one. So that would be kind of the what I would be thinking would be able to help you throughout the matchup, because we know both decks play reversal energy. So the
Right.
moth is a piece of the equation, but if you gust KO the moth and then you go up prize cards and then reversal energy still live, then you're just walking into a return from most of these attackers, right?
You've activated my trap card.
Exactly.
Porous tenacity for GhoULS. Or not GhoULS, but for reversal energy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a perfect Pokemon that Water has access to, is this Snom that both GhoULS and Ravi are playing. This Snom does have a 2 retreat cost, but it also has the Call for Family attack. So while Ravi would, I'm sure, love to use this, okay, so may have a switch out in hand. That's the thought with seeing the Basculin off of the Brooklet. It's going to say that the little Snom could call for family for the same effect for the 1 water energy, that we know was searched out.
Right. Yeah, unless I see like a way for him to, yeah.
There's the air balloon. So we do have a way to move the Snom up into the Basculin. We do have a water energy on the Basculin as well. Kind of a baity card. Not exactly sure why you would proct it, put the energy on it without having a Rhyhorn in the deck or something like that. But Ravi definitely has an idea for the rationale behind it. So he's going to gather the crew, and he's going to get down Sobble and Remoraid. And also Hex Maniac played for turn for the first supporter. So
yeah, that's really big there for
really
Ravi.
big, really big. Gonna make Ghoulies have to almost find kind of a hex play of his own this turn to stop Ravi on the incoming play.
With whatever is in his hand at that.
Exactly.
That's all he's got to work with, the resources that he has in his hand. Right. Who knows? Brooklet Hill is in play. So GhoULS is going to be able to use that and get something on the bench. And we've seen the Buddy Poffin play last turn, and an energy dropped, but that was it. None of the extra cards, like really off the mulligan. You know what I mean? Any of the 2 extra cards. What I'm trying to say is GhoULS has a lot of cards here to work with going into this turn, even under the hex. He's got a lot of resources in hand.
Yeah, definitely. Started with some extra cards because we saw that Ravi had some mulligans. So we are going to see a ball guy.
Okay.
So ball guy can search out these balls to be able to establish these evolution Pokemon, but you're not going to be able to evolve them this turn. My guess is that this is probably an angle where GhoULS tries to retreat into his own Hisuian Basculin. But I mean, no, that's not going to be the play. Basculin only searching out those basic Pokemon to the bench, and GhoULS not really having much that he would want to get down onto the bench right at this point, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time too, just getting the Frostmoth evolved and getting it out there, getting the definitely not the Milotic, but I don't know. Maybe even you give up a Shady Dealings here, right? And you get the Drizzile out to.
I don't know about that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if you have the dive ball, level ball, you have immediate access to the Inteleon, so you do get the 2 items next turn, and kind of keeps you moving. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're mulling over this third ball to play, or to pull out of the deck, rather, with this ball guy. I feel like it's going to be a nest ball at this moment. But GhoULS maybe has other thoughts. Going to grab up the Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball notably can search out these evolution Pokemon a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah, as well as the dive ball.
Yeah. He's kind of telling us that he wants to get some of his evolution Pokemon out with these balls. So the level ball going to grab the Frostmoth. We expected that one to go ahead and come down into play.
For sure. We've seen that. Man, the Hex Maniac there was really big.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Schools had a really good board state at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just a pass there. Okay. So we got the Frostmoth coming down from hand.
Yeah, and we've seen this Hydro Pump style of deck pop off pretty consistently in that second turn. Now, Ravi did not get the Whalmer down on turn 1. So notably, looks like we are going to see a little bit slower approach from Ravi. Now, you could obviously spring a wishy-washy for this turn. You've already got the energy on the Basculin to retreat, and maybe that's what Ravi foresaw.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to cut you off there, but I bet you my bottom dollar that's why he attached that water energy there.
And there's the wishy-washy. So now, as long as we have access to a Drizzile and 1 water energy, we could really see this ball get moving here. There's Evo Soda, so that's going to want to search out the Octillery.
Mm-hmm. Water just always has it's got so many nice onboard resources, I think you said it the best earlier. We were having a good discussion of just a type with so much search, and when you give a good player all that they got going on, and then throw the Milotic into the situation, and just you don't even need Max Caliber, as you can see.
Yeah, this is for those of you in the Magic and other card game communities who may be kind of watching Pokemon for the first time, this is a very tutor heavy style deck. Likes to tutor out exactly what cards from the deck that it wants on any given turn. So here we're going to see the first water attached from this Ice Dance. And we're going to get a Abyssal Hand for 3 cards. Probably going to be looking for a way to evolve this Drizzile, or another way to get a couple of water energies here. He does only play the 2 search, but he is playing the extra copy of the water energy. That's one of the card differences from the matchup, the choices that these players have made.
Yeah, GhoULS opts to run a 3rd energy search, and Ravi a 3rd energy search and Battle VIP, and Ravi plays the escape rope and I think it's the 7th water energy, right?
Yep, you're right.
Besides that, we've got everything else the same.
So you don't immediately think
Anything?
that Ravi hit it because you think you'd probably be slamming down some combo of cards that would get this going. No supporter played yet for
Correct.
turn, so
No supporter.
if
Played the
GHOULS can
pop.
dodge this turn, then we're sitting in a really good spot. Buddy Buddy Poppin' being played here for the Feebass. Robbie looking through the deck, maybe.
Yeah, he eyed his hand up real.
Yeah,
Routed his play. So
we see some kind of ball card there.
That's an ultra ball for sure.
Yeah, it looks like.
It's that old XY ultra ball, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I know that one when I see it.
Yeah, and we're going to see this Ultra Ball played. What are the two cards that Robbie has to get rid of for this play to happen? To inevitably find probably a Drizzile. Okay, so we are going to discard one Water Energy and Super Rod.
Okay.
Probably go get a Drizzile. Drizzile go get an Irida. Irida get Bucket. And maybe your Inteleon for the next turn. Not sure. There's a bunch of different ways he can go from right here. Okay, so Versus Seeker. So what's in the discard pile? What did Ravi discard that is meaningful? Hex. Hex is probably going to be played again here. So this is the game plan. Game plan is you're not going to have abilities. I'm going to have abilities. By the time that you get a chance to have your board developed, I'm going to be so far ahead that you're not going to catch me.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
What a beautiful way of routing the game out of Ravi. We expected to see these kinds of gameplay tonight.
Yeah, and definitely fortunate to open the Hex, right? Because that's what kind of kicked this whole ball. This what got this ball rolling.
Yeah, you've got to hit it. We say this all the time. Deck can be broken. You can play a bunch of broken cards, but you got to draw the right 7.
So now I'm guessing, Spence, that we may see some evolution through what we don't want to see. This Irida play is strong.
Mm-hmm.
Search out Bucket. Yeah, and I agree with Lee. It's definitely a defensive Hex, but at the same time, you know, that he could have been offensive there very easily, but like we've been kind of talking out with the reversal energies and these engines, you know, we would have seen that a reversal energy play could have been online immediately for GHOULS. So the game plan definitely is to shut down these abilities until your board is exactly where you want it to be. Now, again, I am noting, so GHOULS is the first one to get a Whale Lord on the board. Ravi is still at least 2 turns away from any kind of Whale Lord at all.
I mean, let's be honest. He's got to hit a so he could hit a scoop up net here and bench something. He's got one energy in that wishy-washy.
GHOULS playing reactive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Players. Poor GHOULS hasn't had any abilities the whole game, so.
Yeah, he hasn't.
But
that's all right.
Like
he's gonna get him back here.
Yeah, he's gonna get him back this turn. The board state looks pretty good.
He could hit a Milotic and he could hit it again.
Oh yeah, yep, you're exactly right, Spence. All right, we're gonna see Inteleon. Inteleon.
Shady dealings.
All right, gonna get Kuzma. I'm gonna go ahead and swing into this whale and bring it up into the active where it's not going to be able to accelerate energies. Would be my guess. Would be I don't know how many energies are on it already. I think it's
there's none on the whale.
None on the whale.
2 on the wishy-washy. Right?
Yeah, 2 on the wishy-washy. But
and
you really want to use.
Never bring up the wishy-washy and hit it with. Right.
I don't think. Probably gonna throw down these 2 onto
maybe
the Inteleon.
Maybe goes and gets the Frostmoth or the Sobble.
Yeah, maybe he just goes ahead and gets the
the
moth.
moth.
Yeah, I like that play. Take out the energy accelerator. GhoULS has access to.
Oh my gosh. It's a double KO. Look at the Phoebus with its one little damage counter on it.
Yep, from the Hisuian Basculin attack last turn. Phoebus only having 30 HP.
Like we said, we were going to see some crazy things going on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't foresee these kind of.
Oh, but Robbie's going to elect to put the 2 damage counters on the Wishy-Washy. Trying to decide.
Chaos. Wah. That's huge for Ravi.
Yeah, so Ravi elects, instead of going after the Phoebus and taking the double KO, to take a chance at sending that Wishy-Washy back into the deck with its scatter ability. So those 2 damage counters mean that GHOULS has to flip heads there. You can shuffle the Wishy-Washy in, or if it is tails, then, if it's heads, then it stays on board. If it's tails, then it gets shuffled back into the deck.
Right.
All right, so now we don't have access to the Frost Moth, but
you got reversal energy live.
Oh, Feebas SBO reminding us in the chat that Feebas has the Submerge ability. So Submerge
Correct.
essentially bench barrier for itself, so the Inteleon could not target down the Feebas on that turn. It's a good catch from the chat. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. He'd have needed the Hex again off of my loaded.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, and the intricacies of these decks and the quality of players that we have, you're definitely going to see some really quality lines tonight that, are calculated exactly what these guys are trying to accomplish. So here, if you're GHOULS, I would imagine that if there's any way that you can get this reversal energy into play on this whale, well, you still can't attack because you've not had a single energy committed to it over the course of these turns.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You almost want a basic and then.
Yeah. I almost would have liked to have saw the energy last turn. Yeah, see, I almost would have liked to have seen the energy last turn. Go ahead and get committed to the whale.
Yeah.
We don't know if he drew reversal this turn or if it was in the hand already, but
we can assume it was in the hand.
Right.
It's the top decks.
Yeah. Now without Raihan, you're not accelerating that energy into play. So GHOULS, I think, definitely not expecting an Inteleon attack on that last turn. He sees the energies getting put onto the Wishy-Washy early, probably expects the Wishy-Washy to be the first attacker, but Ravi surprising us all with this Inteleon play to take a knockout on the Frostmoth and place those damage counters on, or place that damage on the Wishy-Washy. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't surprise me that GHOULS was surprised because I was surprised.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that in that moment everything's kind of flipped because you committed those energies to the Wishy-Washy. My guess, expecting if your Frostmoth gets KO'd, you're going to have some kind of response, but I don't know.
Okay. Looks like Super Rod, some things back into the deck, and then the Frostmoth line, and then Brooklet Hill, the Snob into play. Which is real nice.
And teammates, a very strong support, are going to allow GHOULS to hand select out 2 cards.
Do these guys play Aqua Patch?
No.
No. Okay.
No, there's no extra acceleration in either of these lists. It's clear. It's through the melodic, through the Frostmoth. Frostmoth's what's accelerating the energy, or the reversal. So, because melodic can sparkling ripple and return any card from the discard pile to hand, so it can reuse reversal energy in that way.
Right. What 2 cards would you be looking for here, Logan?
I don't know, it's tough, right? Because you are anticipating Ravi to probably keep swinging with this Inteleon. At this point, this is a big body in the active that's doling out very, meaningful damage turn after turn, and you're going to continue to charge your board elsewhere. So if you're GHOULS here, you're probably looking for a way into your own artillery, and then maybe even a supporter option for next turn. I'm not sure, or a way into Inteleon next turn, which is just as strong.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything this turn. This is definitely a tempo turn where, okay, so here comes Manaphy. Manaphy going to protect the 20 extra damage that gets placed from the Inteleon.
Mm-hmm. We aren't even thinking about it. You can Milotic for the Guzma at any point, the Hex.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Such a cool card in a singleton format.
Yeah.
Being able to just 2x anything you got going on. Supporters, you could 3x.
And let's be honest, this leaves GHOULS really open to a Hex Maniac play again.
Mm-hmm.
If Ravi can find Hex on this turn, we're looking at, oh, nope, that's huge. Okay, Rusty's going to heal off that damage. So now if Ravi does find a Hex Maniac, he's not going to take that double KO on the Phoebus. So very meaningful find there.
As well as his immediate way to get the Whelmer down.
Right.
Which we know he wants to do here in the next turn or two.
Right.
I'll tell you though, even getting that Guzma back and putting 1 energy on that Wishy-Washy and saying come here to that Snom or come here to that Drizzile.
Absolutely.
Real nice. Okay, we got an escape, bro. It's just as good at this situation.
Right. Yeah, gonna force GHOULS to declare what he wants to give up here.
Also gives Ravi a lot of access or a lot of knowledge, access to a lot of knowledge of what GHOULS is prioritizing and what he needs to do going through the rest of this turn. Okay, just gonna come back up and tell you.
Yeah, so I guess the least meaningful in this instance is that Remoraid. Ravi eyeing up this discard pile. We see a Floatstone in hand. Yeah, Lee mentioning in chat, and that's what I do keep saying, is that on board right now there is a whale for GHOULS. There's not a whale for Ravi.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So while Ravi is surging now, not having the ability to scoop up net that Basculin or having GHOULS and having knocked out anything yet means that we're still behind on this whale. GHOULS can start mounting this comeback right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have access to
energy drop away.
Yeah, we're just 1 energy drop away. We've got Avery played for turn. Avery with a full bench, but that does allow Ravi to get rid of that Basculin.
Yeah, frees up the space for the Whelmer.
But now we're going to see 1 other card discarded. It's going to be the Phoebus from Ravi's side. Valuing the energy accelerate and the hand filler in the auxiliary. GHOULS now going to play an Ultra Ball. So we're probably looking for Inteleon off of this Ultra Ball. Inteleon's going to get everything else that we kind of need to patch this turn together.
We got to cover some ground here, though.
Don't foresee us getting the Frostmoth into play this turn now, though.
Right.
Because you've not drawn into it, and I know that dive ball's been committed. All the level balls been committed. Well, we just played Avery, so Arazu could get next turn, but not right now. Evolution Incense. I'm not sure if we've seen Evolution Incense yet from GHOULS' side. Maybe not. If not, then that's an out. That's an option. All right, here comes Inteleon. Inteleon going to fetch out 2. Okay, so there's the Evolution Instance. Okay. All right, so here we go. Now, do you evolve the... Is there a card in the discard pile that we need right now? Mallow and Lana for next turn, so GHOULS saying, I'm going to hit with this Whale Lord, and then I'm going to heal damage off of it next turn. Evolution Instance is going to go ahead and get the Moth. Okay. So nothing in the discard pile that GHOULS values over evolving that Frostmoth right now. And I like this. I mean, you definitely put yourself in a position where you're going to even yourself up on prize cards and be able to switch your whale back in next turn. So GHOULS has
2 on there too.
Yeah, we have the access to the energies in hand already. Didn't have to play any of the search options to find them.
Yeah, and this just says I'm 1 energy away from next turn.
Exactly.
Attaching again with it.
Yep. Notably for not 210 would be for 160, but still enough to KO most things in this list, and definitely enough to KO anything that's not a whale.
Yeah, and that kind of proves GHOULS from being disrupted next turn, right?
Couldn't KO Wishy-Washy with this kind of state. You would need the full complement of 4 water energies to be able to knock out a Wishy-Washy. But if GHOULS, or if Ravi does anything here aggressively, then that reversal energy is going to be turned right back on. So
yeah, but that's why he put the 2 on it this turn, right? Because with the Frostmoth, if he gets disrupted, that Mallow and Lana gets taken out of his hand. And he isn't able to put the Whale Lord back on the bench to put more energies onto him. Now next turn he's just again 1 energy away from swinging with that whale.
Yeah, but what I was saying, Spence, is that like with 3 energy and a reversal on it, if Ravi comes up and swings in with the Wishy-Washy, then Spence can't KO it with 3 water and the reversal. It has to be 4 water.
4 water. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, may have been tough to explain, but
no, it's fine.
All right, so here comes Teammates. Teammates going to get any 2 cards from Ravi's side. And again, at these points in the game, players have options to so many cards that their game plans are going to be what shine through. Looks like Ravi eyeing up Nest Ball to be able to get his Whalmer into play.
Night Stretcher.
May not have access to... an energy card per se. We definitely want to see the whale though come down here. So the Nest Ball makes total sense. It's one of those cards. Frostmoth already has the float stone attached, looks like. So we don't need a way to retreat out here.
Yeah, I think it was air balloon.
Yeah, air balloon there. Okay. Yeah, that's right from the Snom earlier. And now it looks like, that the early turns from Ravi were just not enough aggression, because now you're looking at board states where Ravi has exhausted his Inteleon line. He has yet to get Melodic involved because Avery, right? So GHOULS, while not having access to his abilities in the early turns, hits an Avery on a very impactful turn where you force Ravi to discard at least one of those support Pokemon. He loses access to his Basculin, which Ravi doesn't care. But
the Milotic line.
Exactly.
The Feebas, yeah.
Yep, the
Because,
Feebas is
what do you
huge.
think he wanted to do here, right? He wanted to get the Guzma back and
Sure.
initiate another knockout, keep that prize trade going. And he's not able to.
Maybe. It's tough to tell, though, because like I said, I think Ravi here, best case scenario, would really just be to poke this whale. And I know that sounds like not ideal. We
know
wanted,
Malamana.
Yeah, we would have really wanted to disrupt the hand and poke the whale.
Yeah.
But now just going to send a sacrifice up. Say, GHOULS, if you have one energy now, you can really take this knockout and aggression.
And let's also note no energies dropped, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no additional energies down. Mm-hmm.
We know Night Stretcher's in hand. I wonder why.
Must be some line that he's looking to get back. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't just play it, even if you were trying to get back the Phoebus or. So here's the attached return to the whale. GHOULS still sitting on Mallow and Lana. Maybe the second card from Ravi was a disruption card. But these board states are not the same right now at all. One is looking really, really strong, and the other is behind for sure. Tied at prize cards, but all right. And so GHOULS gonna opt for in, so gonna get rid of his own Mallow and Lana in that situation.
That's all right. Ravi's didn't really show a lot of. We personally know that he grabbed the Night Stretcher and didn't play it, but to GHOULS, I'm not 100% sure if maybe he would have seen that. His opponent maybe accidentally revealed that. But the limited amount of cards that were played after the teammates.
Yeah, that's probably it.
To want to disrupt.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there, Spence. I think you hit the nail right on the head. We did see that 2 cards grabbed off of teammates, and then Ravi only plays 1 card after the teammates. So he held something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what that sucker's holding on to, but it's something that I don't want him holding on to nothing. So
it's not guaranteed anymore. We're gonna get rid of that.
Right. You could get it, but the heart of the cards has to serve it to you. Okay, what's that? An Irida? Yeah, beautiful Altar Irida. The Galarian Gallery.
All right, so now we're going to see a whale come down from Ravi's side. Can he get to 240? That's 5 water energies. Would be a lot to ask, but it is possible. Okay, so there's Splash. So now it's 4, and we know that he's got Superior in hand. If he has 4 water energies in the discard pile, 2 on the Wishy-Washy already, though, so I doubt that there is that full complement in there already. 2 on the Wishy-Washy. He literally needs every other water energy in his deck except for 1.
One more card. He doesn't play this Superior and then fill his hand. So he's holding on to something he don't want to get rid of.
Right.
Really quick ball in the rough seas.
Oh, yeah, and they're all there. So this whale is getting knocked out. Doesn't have a Lux Cape on it, does it, that I'm missing? It may.
No, the reversal energy and 3
Yeah, that's
days
the
of
reversal. Okay, so that's the reversal, the gold card. Gold card being the reversal. All right. And now, this has just flipped on its head. See, this is what these players like have the ability to do. They map out these turns in a way where it's all reaction. It's very reactive in the style that we play with these two decks. So now Ravi going to go to 3 prize cards. GhoULS still at 4.
Yeah, but
and we're in the 30 minutes of the game time already.
Yeah.
I've got the stream time at 41 minutes right now, so we started
About 4 or 5 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes before.
Yeah, this one's gonna go all the way. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. All right, so now GhoULS is going to power up this Inteleon. Only grabs 1 water energy off of the Professor's Letter, so the rest probably in the bin at this point. You know, that 3 just went with that whale. And now we don't have an Octillery in play, so GhoULS' hand is very susceptible to hand disruption going down the stretch.
Yeah, we also haven't seen that Milotic get dropped yet. So
Yeah, no. Yeah, from either side.
right.
And so here we're going to see Superior played. We're going to dump the Mallow and Lana and the Octillery. No need for that at this time.
No, we're not there yet.
We're going to go ahead and grab these energies back out. So now we can.
Let's see the Wishy-Washy.
Yeah, now we can power up a Wishy-Washy. Yeah, Wishy-Washy and 3 energies powered up. Yep. So GhoULS powering up attackers still.
You'd love to see Gust here too, right? Okay, and
Iono, so disruption. But Ravi does have the Octillery in play, so won't be as impactful for GhoULS as a disruption tool.
Okay, so we're gonna get the whale back on the bench, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We got to recur it, and we got to recur it quickly.
So that's the only way to deal with the whale, right? Is the 5 energy whale?
Yeah, that's the only way to one hit through the whales as it sits. And Ravi's whale is going to bounce back to hand because of that splash energy attached to it. So Ravi will immediately just be a couple of turns away from being able to recur his own whale with a Nessa.
Yeah. You know, and we could see the Lux Cape get dropped, but then again, we could see the Milotic grab the reversal energy, and then 4 energies get dropped onto the Whalmer in the same turn.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And then he goes ahead on the prize trade. There's a lot of little intricacies within this matchup that
exactly.
Get really, really itchy.
Exactly. And we could sit here all night and call different lines out and hit on and probably hit on only about 50% with everything that we're calling out. And I mean, I think this is just an instance where it's better to let these two players play it out. We'll kind of say what we feel in the moment, but I have no idea where they're going to go from minute to minute, to be honest. So GhoULS going to come up and poke with the Inteleon.
Again,
Ravi
hitting the Wishy-Washy.
Yep.
Are we going to see the same unluckiness? Okay, we got a heads. But that's just that turn, right? We could tails at the end of GHOULS' next turn, and that wishy-washy's right back in the deck.
Well, he heals from rough seas.
Rough seas. Oh,
Yeah.
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 Ugh. It's looking at him right in the face, too.
Yeah.
Which that's okay. You got to try. I think he's got the melon law in hand.
I don't know. If not, we have a lot of dig for it if we can thin this hand down. Yeah, that's definitely the ideal play for Ravi here, would be to Mallow and Lana to be able to retreat into this Frost Moss, free retreat back into the whale, clear all that damage that was just done last turn from the Inteleon.
For sure.
And then I think, too, another thing that Ravi would like to do is try to find a way to establish his Phoebus again. Okay, so this is the time where all your important resources are going to be in the discard pile. So you're going to want to find, if anything, that. So reversal so Lux Cape put onto this whale. And then we're going to draw a couple with the Abyssal hand. Arvin.
Really don't like that. The Lux Cape drop. Especially knowing that he's got the Phoebus right there. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Phoebus reversal, bunch of energy. Could be
We've seen
really strong.
Yeah, we've seen the Super Rod be played. We've seen the Superior be played.
Nessa's still live for both players.
Yeah, Nessa and Milo did.
Yeah, Nessa's still live for both players.
Okay, so nice stretcher for the Phoebus, get him on the bench.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of foresaw there. You definitely want to get that guy back. Probably pushing this down to 2 prize cards. So GHOULS is in a position where he needs to start making some things happen now.
He does, but at the same time, he levels the playing field with the.
Yeah, if he can find a knockout on this Whale Lord.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're right back neck and neck.
Nandi on it. 340 total HP, so 250 remaining.
Yeah, it's just a 5 energy whale.
5 energy Whale Lord.
So that's a reversal in 2.
Yep. It's literally, well, like we said, it's the Nessa melodic. Right. That's what.
At this point, it doesn't even have to be Nessa. So he's got 3 there. Those are the same 3 that he had earlier.
2 in the discard from that knockout the last turn. Okay, so here's the Nessa.
Okay, so it's the Nessa. And that also gets the Whale Lord.
Yep.
And it's the artillery line.
Yep. So we needed the Nessa. The Nessa was definitely like had to have one of those pieces. Now, can we find the melodic? I don't think. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Let's go. This is big.
All right, so here we go. There's the reversal. Yep. So this. Okay, so we got one, Spence. Put us on the whiteboard for tonight. We got one. All right, so reversal comes down. 2 water energies down, so that's now a 5 energy Whale Lord of GHOULS for GHOULS. Which is going to be able to swing straight through this cape and take a 2 prize knockout, evening up this playing field.
And let's be honest, just like with GHOULS, staring your opponent's Whelmer in the face, I don't think you can ever cape it.
Yeah, no. I think that just is screaming. Find 5 well, it wouldn't be 5 energies though needed in this scenario. Like you would need a lot more. You need the course of a couple of turns, but you would allow Ravi an out over the course of 2 turns to map out, the knockout trade. So both these players down to 2 prize cards in our game 1 of the first semifinals that we're going to see this week. The man sitting across from me is going to be in one of the other semifinals. We'll see him a little bit later on. So Ravi does get the Whalmer and Whale Lord back to hand from the splash energy. We're going to bench that Whalmer immediately. GHOULS had no damage to heal off last turn from the rough seas. Ravi has none this turn. It just kind of is what it is in terms of the board states. GHOULS doesn't have his artillery reestablished yet.
Got the Remoraid down though, which we should.
Sure. Yep.
Is notable.
Yep. Exactly.
Also notable. Deck is looking thin.
It's a huge game one. We're in it deep at this point. I'm thinking in my head already that you're looking at a 2-game 90-minute. So this game is going to be very important for the outcome of this finals set.
100%.
Long as both of these players are opting to play under normal time rules, and I know that they started a timer already, so I know that that's the case.
Yeah, for sure. And that is the case for all of the async playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. Also noted, Ravi's a judge, so if any weird intricacies come up with coming to time in the best of 3 set, he'll know his way through that. Okay, so we got the Whelmer coming back down on Ravi's side, which is big. And then a Nessa. Okay, so escape rope's down. He's not getting the gust. I'll tell you what. Cruise him up that Whelmer and hit him with the wishy-washy. Seems like a pretty cool line. You know, it'd be even cooler. Oh no, you can't do it. You say with the Mallow and Lana 2 to heal whatever damage, but can't play 2 supporters in 1 turn, right, Spencer?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, Milo and Lana is in the discard pile right now for GHOULS, so he would have to find the Versus Seeker out this turn.
Right.
Because if you Devo spray the Melodic, it can't evolve until next turn.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like I'm cool with just chasing down that Whelmer with the wishy-washy and just saying, you know, like, yeah, you're gonna swing into me next turn, but you're not gonna hit 180.
Yeah.
And that
For this board state, GHOULS would need a couple of more energy on this Whale Lord to be able to knock out the wishy-washy. We're in that same scenario that we were in several turns ago with damage number-wise because of the reversal.
right.
But this has been a killer first game. This is what you hope to see from a semifinals matchup.
Oh yeah.
All
so
right,
we got
so
the Wave Rippling for the Superior.
Yep. So Superior going to discard Ball Guy and Gladian, 2 useless cards. We're going to get back up to 4 water energy from this discard pile. Looks like only 2.
Mm.
So we are going to start
Okay.
searching the whale this way. Third from hand.
It's another thing we should note too, you know, with taking the first initial prize, you're always naturally powering up your attackers throughout the game, or mainly the Whale Lord. GHOULS being able just to drop a reversal throughout the game has been super beneficial to him.
And did you catch that, Spence? Ravi, Devo spraying his Melodic to put that back into hand. So next turn, after having used Melodic this turn, Ravi will be able to use it again next turn. And you got to think that if this wishy-washy does get knocked out, which, unless there's a Mallow and Lana with some energies coming down, then I don't foresee that.
Yeah. Rough Seas heals 30, right?
Yeah, Rough Seas heals 30. So there's the Devo spray from GHOULS. You would have liked to have found that last turn, but finds it now. But all right, so there's the 1 extra energy onto this Whale Lord.
Guzma, baby.
Guzma up the Whalmer. There it is. There it is, Spence. That's what we were looking for. That's what we were looking for. Yep, put you on the whiteboard. We're going to keep score here. Love it. All right, so we're chasing down that whale before it becomes the whale lord again, and we're gonna nail it with the wishy-washy. Perfect math. To be able to take that baby whale out of play. GhoULS still having access to his whale lord on the bench. So
And that's just game, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's got the wishy-washy in hand too for the Guzman game. Not that anything's withstanding 200 that Waylord would be dealing with just another energy drop.
Right.
One
Yep.
or even 150, right? Nothing withstanding 150.
Yeah, nothing apart from that wishy-washy is withstanding 160 from the 3. With wishy-washy in play, you would need the full complement of 4 water.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, I don't know how my game's going to go this week, Logan, but I ain't looking forward to playing either of these decks.
Yeah.
Either of these pilots, I think, is the better way to say it.
Sure.
Both players playing, pretty similar list: Hydro Pump, Milo Pump.
And what did I tell you early on in the knot? The tutoring ability here is it's on another level. So Ravi's now recurred this Drizzile again, and so now Ravi, expecting that GHOULS has access to, some good cards in hand and no Octillery down yet, gonna grab that Iono to jam GHOULS down to 1 card. This is scary.
He's got the melodic.
Yeah, knows he has the melodic. Exactly. Yep. Ravi has access to his own melodic too. So probably deciding here if he wants to go ahead and evolve that line, if there's something that he needs now before Ionoing and playing. Okay, so here we go. We are going to go melodic. He can get Lux Cape back. He can get Super Rod so that he can try to establish a whale again.
I wish Washy's got 3 retreat.
Yeah. Yeah, wishy-washy 3 retreat cost.
It's tough.
And what are we doing here? We played a Super Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird the way you had putting it down.
Some nice stretcher.
Yeah. Night Stretcher is what he chose instead of the Super Rod. Yep. Okay, so Night Stretcher being chosen instead of the Super Rod. Night Stretcher getting the Whalmer back. Scoop Up Net to pick up the melodic and rebench the Phoebus, and then we're gonna rip this Iono, sending GHOULS to that 1 card hand. What a first game! Incredible.
Mm-hmm. You think he's got it? Off these 2 cards?
I don't know, Spence.
Hmm.
We know that we know that there is no search options left.
And we also know there's not a knockout on Ravi's side.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen.
There's just a lot of damage on the board after this hit.
Yeah. But notably, if
he's got 1 energy, he just retreats.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of this here for GHOULS, is that you really just need an energy. And if this wishy-washy gets hit and goes back into the deck, you could top deck an energy. Which is huge. Just 3 more. So tails here would be, I think, ideal.
Oh, yeah.
It's heads.
Heads.
So we're not going to be getting back those water energy because we've already expended all those resources. This is
big.
coming down to the wire. I don't
This
know
is
if there's.
big.
I don't know if there are any more basic water energies that GHOULS has access to.
No, we're looking at 5, and I think there's
6 in the deck.
yeah.
That needed to be a tails. Because now it's not going to scatter next turn. Now it's a knockout next turn.
Mm-hmm.
He's eyeing up the discard pile. He has access to Nessa. This game's over. Versus Seeker. This game's over. Quick ball.
Quick ball VIP.
Yeah, so not good. Not good, Spence.
Mm-mm.
So both
All right,
cards
though.
in hand were absolutely dead for GHOULS. Both the Iona to 1 and the top deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big
It's
time.
rough. That's rough. But you know what that does? That shuffles the deck up. That shuffles the deck up so that those cards that you really wanted to play, or now you have a chance to see that. And we're gonna hit in for
Another
in for
heads.
130 on this wishy-washy. Another heads for Ravi, so that's gonna stay in place.
But you know what that means, though? It doesn't matter if Ravi gets the KO because the damage is on the wishy-washy.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Spence. So
Correct.
this indicates that GHOULS has a knockout next turn on this wishy-washy no matter what. Ravi needs to get this Whalmer evolved right now, or Rezu for a potential.
Yeah, he's got all 3 of them there. So the Wailord was hit for 130, and then 60 healed off of it, so 90. 130
We're
plus
fixing
the
to see a
90.
retreat and another superior energy retrieval, brother.
Yeah.
But no, because then you can't charge up this whale. Well, the whale has a reversal energy on it currently. I can't tell. Yeah, and 1 basic water, so it's ready to roll. Ravi finding exactly what he wants here in the late stages of the game. Mapping this out beautifully.
Mm.
Looks like not even going to play down the melodic at this point. Yep, okay, so we are going to play it down. Now do we get the cape for this Whale Lord? Again?
You could. Or you could get that superior energy retrieval back.
Yeah, and that may be what we need to do, because if this whale does take this knockout and we both go to 1,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
then it's 2 turns away from being able to attack. The energy, the energy management over the course of these games is going to be who wins the games, because everything going to the discard pile, being able to recur them, having multiple ways to recur them, so it is a superior. Yep. So I think that we're right on board here with where these energies need to come from and be restored.
on 1 off Abysmal hand.
And you have to retreat this wishy-washy, Spence. You can't miss that. Pulls on 1 prize card here, so you have to. I don't know why we're seeing the superior played now.
Put them in a blender.
Here we go. Yeah, so because there are 3 already in there. Okay. So that makes sense. I didn't know how many were down. So with 3, that's more than enough to be able to rip that superior now. And you're just gonna go ahead and fill this whale.
Superior can get you 5.
4.
4.
Yep. So 3 is absolutely fine value. So Ravi going to load a second one onto this Whale Lord, retreat into the Whale Lord. We're going to see Whale Lord with enough energies on board to be able to take a knockout on this Wishy-Washy. So that's 3 basic waters and a reversal on the whale right now. GhoULS would need access to 2 more water energies off of, again, 1 card. I just don't think that. I don't think it's there, Spence. Or else I think we'd be seeing it. Rough C is gonna do its due diligence, but I think that Ravi's locked GhoULS up here at 1 prize card. We're gonna retreat into the Whale Lord. But yeah, 1 energy would be the knockout. So there it is. That's game 1. Game 1 going to Ravi in
Next
this
card was the energy.
best of 3. Oh, rough. That's rough. Incredible game 1, though.
Mm-hmm. That could have been anyone's game.
Definitely so.
What's the clock looking like, boss?
Not long, Spence. Not long, brother. We're probably over an hour into that first game.
Yeah, I'm looking over. Robbie's got his timer showing. It says like 28 or
Yeah.
something like that. 27. Cut my camera off for 2 seconds in between this match. Get myself something to drink. Let me tell you what. I've been sitting on the edge of my seat. My legs starting to go numb. Definitely a really, really good game here. And we knew it was going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Super solid sets.
For sure. All right, so these players setting up for a second game here, but as Spence mentioned a little bit earlier, um, probably looking at an under 25-minute game here. So GhoULS gonna have to pick the pace up. Ravi not gonna be bothered to play incredibly fast coming down the way. As Spence mentioned, he is a judge, so he is very cognizant of time rules and knowing that he's won the first game. He knows that now the onus is on GhoULS to win this second game within 25 minutes to be able to force some kind of sudden death scenario. As this is a playoff game, so even if we are in time, if GhoULS can win this game, there would be a sudden death where both players would set up a normal game of Pokemon, and the first player to take a knockout would be victorious. So Ravi going to kick us off here with a Hisuian Heavy Ball in game 2. Hisuian Basculin starter, but he is going first this game, so will not have access to the Gather the Crew, but does get the basics down in Phoebus and Snom. Ravi does actually look like he's playing fast for GhoULS, but like I said, the onus is not on him to play fast at this point. GHOULS ripping Gladian. Yeah, Blantism. I don't know if I would call it the new hotness, but it is definitely a very strong way to play water in this day and time. It does not play the Bax Caliber line, but rather opts to go through the Frostmoth and use the Melodic to be able to recur cards out of the discard pile. It's extremely thought-provoking, I will say that. You know, we saw that first game go to an hour, over an hour time on that first game. So here goes GHOULS. GHOULS going to be able to gather the crew off of Brooklet Hill. Yeah, GHOULS, one of our TBS members, TBZ members. He is, you know, incredibly gifted when it comes to playing Pokemon cards. Very proud of his accomplishments. So GHOULS definitely GOAT in our minds too, Adam. Chris Hill, for those of you who don't know GHOULS by any other name other than his screen name. All right, so GHOULS going to fill the bench with Snom and Sobble. We did actually see yeah, it's kind of what I figured coming out of Ravi. We did see a Ultra Ball fall out of GHOULS' hand, so that's at that point public knowledge. So Ravi gonna immediately end that Ultra Ball away and not give GHOULS access to the Drizzile on the next turn. That's funny, Adam. That's funny. He'll go back and read this later and think that that's quite hilarious. Some know GHOULS apparently Spence as sweet baby. It's pretty funny, huh? Figure I'd get it in there. Both players are playing pretty quick here. I was telling the chat the onus is on GHOULS to win this game in 25 minutes. That Ravi does not have to speed up his play at all to rush the board. But it looks like Ravi is playing quickly. So we're going to see a second gather of the crew here for, well, I'm sorry, Ravi's first turn being able to attack. We're going to see him gather the crew for another basic. Got to be the Sobble of his own. So now GHOULS. Can GHOULS pull off a turn 2 Wailord through some combination of Erazu and these energy search cards that he has access to? I'm going to start the turn off with a Brooklet Hill. Commentary going to be rapid from here on out, pretty much, folks. As these players are going to be playing incredibly fast. So GHOULS going to Brooklet Hill out that Remoraid, and we saw that was probably the undoing of GHOULS in Game 1, not being able to get that Octillery back out. So just being stuck behind dead cards in the late game, 1-2 cards, having Battle VIP Pass and Quick Ball at the end of the game, nothing that you want to have access to at that point. Yeah, Adam, very, very active card game for sure. This is Gym Leader Challenge. This is our beloved fan-made format. Andrew Mahone started the format. It's been, I believe, over 3 years now. So, and you see we have webcam tournaments. There was actually a tournament being hosted tonight by Cardboard Warriors, but I didn't get to play in it as we had planned out the stream a little bit in advance. So, but if you wanna know anything about the format, Adam, definitely talk to GHOULS. He's an excellent person to get you into if you would like to start playing the cards. GHOULS does find Drizzile off of his N. And the Avery combination. So here we go. We're going to get off of Drizzile, Capacious Bucket. Bucket finds the 2 water energies. We're going to get at least 1 attachment this turn. Okay, so a couple. So Level Ball going to get Frostmoth into play, if I had to guess. Yep. So here comes Frostmoth. We've got 2 energies in hand already. Be able to accelerate those to the Whelmer. Looks like both players are trying to go Turbo Whale this game, which this is what the deck likes to do mostly, is to try to turbo out that Whale Lord. All right, pass back over to Ravi. Ravi has the Whale Lord there and an Iono. So constant hand disruption in this game.
Sorry about that.
No, you're okay, Spence. We've been having a good time. We've had some messages come across in the chat, so had some fun interactions going on there.
I love it. It's growth and development right there, brother.
So, as I had mentioned, Spence, both these players are playing incredibly fast. Ravi does not have to play quickly in this instance, but is playing so for the benefit of having competitiveness in the game. We see this exact thing in Standard often, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of the Standard format at this time, because you see these players win a long game 1 and then slow it down to be able to manipulate that second game. Like I said, the onus is on GHOULS here to win this game now in 25 minutes. Has to happen in order to send us some kind of sudden death scenario. Both players are going for Turbo Whale strategies this game.
Yeah, for sure. Put the damage on the Basculin.
Yeah. Yep. So GHOULS, we're seeing Evo Soda come out for him. Evo Soda going to get the Octillery into play.
Not getting anything into play.
Yep, must be prized. That's not good. Not a good look there. As Ravi now will know that Octillery is definitely not available.
Mm-hmm.
And Superior getting played now, going to dump Super Rod and Rough Seas to get back. You hope. Man, just 1 energy. Not where you want to be.
All right,
so there's the 4 energies on the Whelmer. Do we have the Whale Lore? Okay, so Octillery's in hand. Okay, so we're good.
What a sack of potatoes.
We're good. It's hilarious. He would have known absolutely that everything that was being said there. That's crazy. What a perfect set of cards to have in hand.
You ain't lying. Arvin.
Heinous. Okay, so now we're just fishing for extra. Okay, so now we're just looking for.
Man, I'd love to see an escape rope here.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think you want to swing into this. this.
Yeah, no, the first
useless Basculin either. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. A lot more, what'd you call them, tutors? A lot more tutors that can go down here.
Yeah, we could just go get Inteleon here. Or Melodic off this Evolution Incense. So, Escape Rope's still alive out. Definitely don't overlook that at this point.
Yeah.
We'll get the Floatstone. I doubt that we'll see that Floatstone attached to the Basculin immediately, unless. But GHOULS shuffling the deck here.
Yeah, so, you can't do that. You got to play the incense. You got to keep this time going.
Yeah, you got to go. Okay, so we are just going to see it onto the Basculin. Lux Cape. Has to be, yeah. Lux Cape onto his whale.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, I'm going to have 5 energy on this Whale Lord. And I'm going to put Cape on it. Deal with it. And now Ravi will need way
Also,
more.
we should add he's got enough energies to return a Whale Lord if Ravi
Yeah.
does not get
Yeah,
the
that's
4
the
energies.
exactly. That's the key to the amount of energies that are on the Whale Lord right now. 5 energies is enough to one hit a Whale Lord on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So GHOULS here is making Ravi have access to 7 energy. That's what this Whale Lord would need to hit through this Lux Cape. Now, these players are playing Field Blower, so a Field Blower could remove the Cape, and Avery's going to be the start. It's going to be the Basculin remove for GHOULS, and then the other, maybe a little bit of a tougher decision here. You know, the last time he removed this Octillery from play, it cost him dearly down the long run. I think you just you got to get rid of the Feebas or you got to get rid of the Drizzle. You have to get rid of one of those two. I think it's non-negotiable after what you've had done you in game 1.
100%.
Now, Ravi has already used his N and Iono in this game, though. So if those late game disruption cards are going to be a thing for Ravi, we're going to need to see a melodic Phoebus established pretty soon. Escape Rope going to be able to move around this Whale Lord. So we've got the combination of Avery and Escape Rope to really be able to disrupt this board state from GHOULS. So if we have access to 3 energies here, plus retreat tool, but I don't think so. Now just looking at it, like
he's
they're
got
not
that Go Incense in hand for the Go Get the Intellion if it's not prize.
right. Exactly.
And he can go get the Guzma and he can just take out that Whale Lord.
Yeah.
And if he's able to do that and get the Feebas down in the same turn, it's throwing and popping. I mean, it's, you know, the snowball's as big as you could ever imagine.
Right,
Looking
and
at a snowball coming at you.
just a pass here from Ravi. This is big. Yeah. So here comes that Evolution Incense. We're going to go get the Intellion into play.
For sure.
And then rip the Shady Dealings. What are we looking for, Spence? Call it out. Guzma.
Yep. Probably going to get some way to get the Feebas back on the bench.
Yeah, that's what I think, too. I think so, too. Yep, Phoebus and... so Guzma and Not Stretcher, Guzma and even Super Rod. Super Rod's already been discarded. Yeah, that's rough. Versus Seeker.
Get the Guzma back.
Sure. And we're chasing the whale, baby. Yeah, this is why these 5 energies are on here. We're not going after the Frostmoth. We're going after the attacker right now.
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah, it's huge. This may be what GHOULS needs to rush this game out of play before it ever gets started. Yeah. Now,
because in theory he needed to get 3 prizes ahead so that a return KO, you know, wasn't didn't equal up the game into going into turns. So now one more.
Well, no turns. Yep.
One more knockout, and he's solidified at turns winning this game, and then sending it to sudden death. If I'm correct, I could be wrong.
You're close, but just a little bit off. So he needs to take 4 prize cards before time is called, because in turns, he would have 2 turns. You have 0 and 2 or 1 and 3. So you have 2 turns in time, as long as the Lux Cape's not played down, which if you're Ravi, you're not putting a Lux Cape down anytime soon, I wouldn't imagine. Teammates here are going to be able to fetch out a couple of cards. We know that Ravi has the Frostmoth in play. We've got the Whale Lord in hand.
Yeah, teammates coming down. He's grabbing that. I don't know. What are you grabbing here? Are you grabbing the Field Blower?
tough, right? Because
Definitely grabbing 2 cards.
I think that Field Blower's tough because if you can establish your Whale Lord next turn with a reversal on it, then you just need 4 energies, and we see like in game 1 you can take 2 prize cards off of the Whale Lord. So I don't know, because you're not launching a meaningful attack this turn that could even knock out the Whale Lord without the cape.
Yeah. Ravi's phone screen went dark. Last time I seen it was like 9 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably like 8 or 7 at this point.
And we're going to go get Professor's Letter for 2. And Ravi going to elect probably to hold the other card again. Even if...
Let's also note here, I think that's a Mickey signed water energy on Ravi's side of the board all the way down in Chile. Shout out to Mickey. Stand-up fella. Runs them tournaments over there at CBW.
Ooh, and we're slinging cards for Ravi. So we've got Air Balloon to be able to retreat this Frostmoth. We've got 2 extra energies that have been dropped down on the Wishy-Washy. 1 that has been prepped onto the Whalmer. And then we're going to see an Abyssal Hand for 3. All off of the teammates that was played moments ago. So we're going to come up and swing in with this Wishy-Washy. But GHOULS is still in a good spot because GHOULS is going to take this knockout this turn. And like you said, we're going to be pushing ever so closer to that 4 prizes that we need to take before time is called. GHOULS needs to play quickly here, though.
Yeah, I didn't see the scoop up net on the Intellion line. Nasty work.
This is another wild game that we're seeing here play out. GHOULS rushed out to a 2 prize card lead with an early Whale Lord KOing Whale Lord with a Guzma play. Here comes the Knot Stretcher. Found off of Shady Dealings. So that's probably the other card that GHOULS opted for last turn off of his Shady Dealings was the Scoop Up Net Spence.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see Knot Stretcher reestablish the Phoebus last turn. So, oh no, it was the Versus Seeker. No, we knew that. It was the Versus Seeker. We saw him pull that. Yeah, Versus Seeker for Guzma again. All right, promote the Octillery and the Air Balloon while getting an energy down on the Drizzile. Looks good. Everything looks good. We're going to KO this whale again. And again, make it to where Ravi cannot hit through this caped Whale Lord this turn. So the Field Blower gets played to remove the Air Balloon as well.
Opting to leave the Brooklet Hill there also.
Yeah.
I think that's notable.
Yeah, I do. Uses it. Yeah.
Dismal hand for 2 cards.
Yep, that were not the Wishy-Washy. All right, and GHOULS going to take the knockout. Here we go. Not sure how close we are to time exactly, but it is very close. 4 or 5 minutes, I would say, at the max here. So, Ravi.
Yeah, we're at 4 minutes and 45 seconds as we speak.
Cool. So, 5 minutes. Can Ravi play this out in any way that stalls the time and does he play that way? We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Arvin coming down. Arvin going to find Lux Cape and the super rod. So leaving that Brooklet Hill in play is notable here.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's going to allow Ravi to fish out one of these basic Pokemon and get it right back onto the bench. It's going to be that Wailmer again. We know that we know he still has access to that Wailord in hand. So. All right. Looks Cape down onto the Wailord. The Wailmer, along with the reversal energy, it looks like Spence. Gale Blower going to remove the tool. So is this a knockout now with a wishy-washy?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Make this even tougher for GHOULS this turn. Going to make him have to find a knockout.
In 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes, yeah. And we know the Guzman's down. We know the Versus Seeker's down. But there is a Phoebus on the bench. So GHOULS could theoretically take a knockout this turn.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get moving here.
Yeah. 2.5 minutes to get a knockout because he's got to get this prize
before time is called.
Mm-hmm.
When time is called, it immediately becomes turn 0. And he may be just mulling over if he even has a way to do it, to take a knockout. We've already seen Scoop Up Net be used. And Air Balloon as well is gone. So whatever he promotes here is going to be...
Oh, he needs the Guzma.
Yeah, he needs it. That's why that cape's important, because now Escape Rope not an out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Ravi very aware of this situation, it feels like.
Yeah. GHOULS is the guy for sure. But we gotta know we spent 1 minute and 15 seconds, putting together, whatever, before he even drew his top card.
Yeah. This is tough. So there's the Inteleon.
Yeah.
So we need water energy, we need Gust.
And retreat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Floatstone is still in deck. Mallow and Lana. I'm not sure on this one, Spence. Mallow and Lana and teammates. Teammates can go get any 2 cards, but it feels like to me, I'm like you. If you're not getting Guzma, you're not taking a knockout right now, you're losing this game in time.
Respectfully, about 7 seconds, you're losing this game in time.
And that looks like it's it. That looks like it's going to be it. Let's see how these players resolve here. But as it stands, now notably, okay, Spence. So GHOULS now can win over the course of the next 2 turns.
Yeah.
Even with 3 prize cards remaining, because you knock out the whale. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, exactly. So
And what do we need there? We need reversal.
Right.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So you need 7. So you need
Was
reversal and 4.
Was Hex this? No, no, no,
Hex
no,
is
no. Yeah, yeah,
4.
yeah, 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 yeah. There you go. There we go. All good. All good. Hex played. Wishy-washy staying there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. So now GhoULS knows that because that cape came down into play, that he has a win condition. Probably why he slowed down just a touch, because the field blower's gone too. Now, if Ravi could have melodic the field blower back.
GhoULS has a saying all the time. He says, there's your win condition.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he is extremely competitive when it comes to recognizing win conditions and outs. All right, there's Guzma. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yep. Guzma up the baby whale, and I don't know that. Yep. Oh, me. I think this is it, Spence.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Ravi just having all these cards that keep GhoULS out of a Whale Lord next turn.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be just enough to deny GhoULS the win in time. Players are still playing this out, so I'm not sure exactly what is going on from here, but that's why I had mentioned I'm not sure how they are, what kind of agreement they've made in terms of a game state, board state. But GhoULS looks like he's still playing this out as if there's time. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick him up there. So that's it. So that's where the writing's on the wall. No way to win this turn. Yeah, and Blant, that's what we are Blake, that's what was going on there. We had got into time on GhoULS' last turn. So he needed to be able to find a win over the course of last turn and this turn. There was an out in the way of the caped whale, but GhoULS not able to find that combination to be able to knock out the whale in that instance.
Yeah.
So
it happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely. We saw 2 extremely good games by both these players tonight. Congratulations to Ravi. Definitely well earned, well deserved.
Yeah.
That's one of our guys. We love Ravi over here. We test with him all the time, play with him, all the time online with, tabletop gameplay. Anytime that it's late at night, Ravi usually going to be online working on a deck. So congratulations to him. I know we hate to see GhoULS fall just a little bit short in this one, but that's Pokemon. When you have 2 of the best, this is just where we're going to be. And so congratulations to Ravi. Congratulations to GhoULS on the season.
Mm-hmm. Both of them great players. I think it's notable to be said. Ravi also was, tied for second with most badges this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, and no matter what, Milo Pump made it to the finals.
Absolutely.
And TBZ win right there.
Yep.
Shout out Turbo Blaze GLC. Shout out Ravi and GhoULS. And everyone else, it's been a part of this async playoff and these videos that we've been able to make. It's been pretty cool to capture, the gameplays, and just, us talking about, what we believe is going to happen and, talk about, the things as they're happening as well. So,
yeah, it's been incredible fun. And, like I had mentioned previously in the stream, we look forward to seeing you play your matchup probably here in the next couple of days. We know that you're looking down at, a matchup with SBO, who has already taken out the first, part of Cursed Kiss with Lee last week. So you'll be looking to avenge that loss for Cursed Kiss to see if you can push it up into the finals to take on this deck now that you see from Ravi. Um, you know, I'm very excited to call that game. And then you and I have already kind of spoken about our idea. We want you to go out there and win, right? That's the
Yeah,
goal.
for
That's
sure.
the goal.
That's the goal.
I don't even want to speak anything else into existence.
That's
But
what's about to happen.
yeah, all that I'm gonna say is we will be here. Turbo Blaze will be here for the next semifinal game and the finals matchup, just to kind of put a bow on this whole season and
Yeah.
what we've been able to see.
Unconditionally.
So yeah,
Unconditionally.
unconditionally. That's a good way to put it, for sure, for sure. So, well, Spence, I've had a blast tonight, brother. You have
Me
any
too.
closing thoughts?
No, man. I like you said, congratulations to Ravi. Good gameplay from GhoULS. It's crazy back and forth matchups. Super excited to plan out my match with SPO and to get testing for that and see how that goes.
Yeah, I think we're starting to figure this whole YouTube thing out, guys. So definitely stick around and look for more to come. We'll be live again here in the next couple of days, I imagine. So just stay tuned. What's next from the Turbo Blaze guys? And other than that, you guys have a great rest of your night. Good luck with your Mondays tomorrow. Back to work for everybody, but we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.